If you like the video you're about to watch, make sure to hit the subscribe button and click on the notification bell to be notified when new content is uploaded.
Alright, so today we're going to be installing an aftermarket shift knob and some other goodies for the shifter inside of the 1985 cabover. So let's go ahead and hop on in and get to it. Alright, so to get started with, we're going to have to remove this cover right here. You just take a flathead screwdriver and carefully go underneath the edge, pop it up, take that off, and then what you're going to want to do is there's two Phillips screws underneath here. You want to remove those. That'll remove this actual knob at the top. Okay, go ahead and see if I can get those out because we're going to have to reuse those. For the new knob, or part of the new knob. Okay, and then our next step, we have two more Phillips screws down here. Remove this one, and then there's one at the front. And now that that's removed, slide that cover down and out of the way. And then on a 9 or 10 speed, you're going to have two air lines. One here, one here. What you're going to do is you're just going to loosen, in this case, the nut on each one. Sometimes you'll have a quick release. This particular shifter does not use that, but I have seen that on some other shifters where it's just a push lock quick release. But on this style, you just loosen these, pop your air lines loose. Remember which one goes to which. In my case, it's easy: a white airline, a black airline. White's on this side, black's on this side. So make sure you get those back in the correct position. And then you're going to have a jam nut underneath here. What you're going to do after you remove those air lines is pop that jam nut loose, hold your air lines out of the way, and then this will just unscrew. And you'll reuse this. Now, carefully slide this bottom cover off. Get out of the way, we won't need that. So as you can see, there are two air lines. You don't have to loosen this very much, just enough to where it pops loose to where you can actually unscrew that, so that way whenever you screw this piece back down, all you have to do is turn this just a hair until it tightens up against that. So you don't have to worry about how far this actually was threaded down on there. You just thread it down till it hits this and then tighten, and it's pretty much in the same position that it was. So our next step is we're going to be installing this chrome cover to replace the factory just black plastic cover. And you can get these in metal, but this one's just plastic. So you want to slip that over. Make sure that your slot goes into the front of the shifter. And then your next step is going to be to install this piece again. And and just screw it down until bottoms out. Make sure that this is straight. Make sure that feels comfortable to you. You can turn it a little bit if you want. It doesn't really matter all that much, but I like my high and low selector to be as straight as possible to the front of the truck. And then what you're going to do, and this is kind of difficult because of the boot, but push that out of the way. So that, hold this. And you turn that jam nut tight so that this won't spin. And it still looks straight. Next step, to reconnect the air lines. So the white goes on the passenger side of the truck. Just slip that in there. Snug that up. This one, just snug that up, finger tight. And then tighten them down completely. So those are both nice and snug. What we're going to have to do is go ahead and slide this up. I'll actually put our screws back in to hold this up. You just reuse the short screws. Alright, and then we'll put this one in the front. And then you don't want to tighten this down super tight because this is plastic, you can crack this. So snug those down. Okay, make sure that works. Now, on this, I'm installing a little chrome cover over the high-low selector. Just slides on, pops in place. Now, you can see the difference in the way the two knobs mount. This mounts like a traditional knob in a passenger vehicle, whereas this is a standard air shift knob. So you wouldn't be able to put that on because there's nothing to screw into. So what you do, take this adapter piece, reuse the longer screws, I'll throw these in a little bit, just enough. And then that just slips over like so. And then you tighten this down as if it was your shift knob. We use the same holes that it threaded into. Make sure I find where they actually thread into. I go by feel. There we go. Same for this one. Tighten that down. Make sure it's lined up. And snug that down. And then normally you would have another jam nut right here, so that way when you screwed your shift knob down, you could tighten the jam nut. So for example, how this has a flat piece on it, if you had a shifter that wasn't round, you could position your shift knob how you wanted it and then tighten the jam nut, because otherwise when you tighten the shifter down all the way, it may end up crooked. Well, in this case, we don't have to worry about that because it's just a round shift knob. So no matter what position it's in, it's going to always look the same. So also, depending on how long this threaded shaft is versus, you know, how deep the hole in your shifter knob is, you may bottom out before you're able to screw that all the way down. So you end up with a bunch of threads just sticking out, and this doesn't really tighten up. But in this case, that's fairly short, and this is actually drilled out all the way pretty much to here. So I'm not going to use a jam nut. It will give a much cleaner installation. But on here, slide that or thread that on, and then just hand tighten it, and then that's it. Make sure your high and low still works. And there you have it. How to install a aftermarket shift knob as well as the adapter and the lower cover on a Eaton 9-speed or 10-speed transmission.